This is CBS 2 News.
I'm Brad Edwards. Here are the stories making headlines at this hour. Genex could be inching closer to reopening. The suburban company that sterilizes medical equipment partially shut down 6 months ago. The EPA found the plant released a high level of cancer-causing chemicals into the atmosphere. A proposed agreement with the Illinois Attorney General would allow Genex to again use ethylene oxide, but it would first have to create new systems to capture that gas. Also, the EPA would have to approve that system, and Genex would have to eliminate all emissions. A judge still has to sign off on the consent order, but the group Stop Genex is already responding with anger.
We find this so troubling for many reasons. But one main one is that you cannot do a good deal with a bad actor. And to count on them to fulfill anything they say in that consent order is foolish, and we do not trust them at all.
The Illinois Attorney General's office says the new proposed agreement builds on a new law requiring the strictest ethylene oxide limits in the nation. Another part of the deal calls for Genex to pay up to $300,000 to refund, or rather to fund, environmental projects and improvement projects. Well, what in the world are all these people looking at? Cameras pointed, binoculars drawn just after dawn on Chicago's Montrose beach? Well, we've got to tell you, it's going to make you smile. Take a close look and you'll see a rare baby bird just born around 6 this morning. Here's another nice family shot. In June, the mama piping plover began nesting on the beach. It's the first time in more than 50 years piping plovers have nested in Cook County.
That's huge. There's really only less than 70 breeding pairs left in the Great Lakes of these birds, up from about 12, 15 pairs. So they're recovering, but it's still not where it needs to be. So it's really exciting for Chicago that we have this kind of beach and this kind of place where they can nest.
Piping plovers remain on the U.S. endangered species list, but today's blessed event is one step in the right direction. If you're taking the train during the expected heat wave, plan for extra time. Metro warns riders that the rides will take longer, so you should expect delays. When temps go above 95 degrees, trains have to cut their speed about 10 miles per hour. And it's not just trains. The heat also takes its toll on the roads and can cause the pavement to buckle. As we see here on Lakeshore Drive earlier this week, IDOT says it's staffed and ready to respond as needed and for repair calls. Now let's turn to meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist.
And we had those morning storms and downpours that lingered through the middle of the day, Brad, and also a southeasterly wind component kept our temperatures in check. But now that the rain has moved out, the sun has moved in, we are having a feels-like temperature of 101 in Joliet. So areas from DeKalb to Ottawa, Morris, Kankakee, that is going to keep building. The heat keeps building as we go into the early evening hours. That's why the excessive heat warning is already in effect, because it'll feel like triple-digit temperatures between now and the time the sun goes down. Now tomorrow, everybody in Chicago is included in that excessive heat warning. We have an advisory for Lake and McHenry, but this area in pink, it could feel like 110 to 115. So the jet stream is far to the north. Hot air is in place. It's also very humid. When we see dew point temperatures rise to the middle 70s, that feels downright tropical. And when you have high pressure here over the Atlantic, winds coming around this high are sending that tropical moisture all the way into this heat dome. So that's why it's so hot and so humid. And when we look at that dew point forecast, we are staying in the oppressive levels all the way through Saturday for most of the day until a front comes through Saturday night. Now Friday looks to be the hottest day, and at noon it'll feel like 101 in Waukegan, 100 in Valparaiso. Going through the heat of the afternoon, that's when we're pushing it to 110 in McHenry and Waukegan. So notice no lake breeze, no lakefront cooling for us. And in case you're wondering, the hottest temperature ever in Chicago was 105, way back July 24th, 1934, when our official temperature reading was at the University of Chicago. And you may remember the 95 heat wave. That's when we reached 104 at O'Hare, and Midway reached 106. But there are cool changes next week. The front comes through Saturday night. Then we spend some time on the cool side of the jet stream. And we pan that out here on the 7-day forecast. You can see that 2 huge hot days here. Late day storm Saturday with the front, little unsettled on Sunday. But Brad, there you go. Low humidity and cooler temperatures early next week.
All right, that's what we're talking about. For the latest headlines day or night, head to CBSChicago.com. I'm Brad Edwards. Have a great day.